Good morning, friends. The video you're looking at is at a construction site for one of our clients who lives in diaspora, but we are working for him at an undisclosed location. This is a very private client, so I probably won't share the location yet. But one of our teams is working on this commercial building right in the middle of a market center. And they're doing everything possible to pull this project off, and hopefully we will get this done in the next couple of weeks. So today I just want to share with you some of the unexpected nightmares that we often deal with behind the scenes. And most of these things are things we have to sort out, and we don't have to involve the client. Because again, once the client pays, they expect the work to be done, and so we have to do whatever we need to do to make it work. Now, generally, our viewers are used to seeing final products, and I usually show very pristine homes, good kitchens that are done, gypsum work, lighting, and all that. But over time, I'm thinking I'm going to be showing you what happens behind the scenes, all the ugly stuff before it looks good. So expect that in the next couple of weeks. But before we do that, welcome to our channel, friends. We thank you very much for joining us every week and every other day. I post a minimum of 3 videos a week. And some of you guys have been very faithful watching us. And those who are new, we hope that you find this content worthy of your time and you subscribe. If you're meeting us for the first time, I'm a Kenyan American who is working to return to the village. And part of the process of doing that, I'm involved in construction, real estate, and helping folks create dignified life in the village. So if you have an interest in those areas, feel free to reach out in the number below. I will connect you with the appropriate contractors that will help you and will supervise. So join us this morning and let's talk about the nightmares that we often deal with, many of which don't make it to our regular videos when we're showing you the finished products. So in general, construction projects often face a range of nightmares, including unexpected costs, delays, disputes, safety concerns. And these issues can stem from various sources such as financial risks, contractual risks, operational risks like equipment failures, and even environmental risks like weather. So I'll give you a few examples so that those of you who are thinking about construction, I hope you give some grace to folks who are helping you. Because oftentimes we run into things that we don't plan into, and they can often change costs or the timelines that we set forth, regardless of how prepared you are in terms of finances. So one of the more common problems we often run into are what I can describe as environmental risks. For example, weather, as you can see. Right now, it's raining quite a bit across most places in Kenya. So like one time we come here and all the trenches are flooded completely. And so we have to hire a pump to pump all that water out, get it done. And even when it's raining, that often means it's a day that folks can't work, because you can't just have people out in the rain digging trenches and doing all of that. So weather can be quite a bit of an annoyance when it comes to construction. Some of the lesser known issues that I've run into a few times when we run to, say, human remains. I've had a few cases where as we are excavating, you find human skulls, human bones in older graves. Now, if it's one thing here and there, that's fine. But when you have a chain of bones and all that, it's a whole different story. And when you're working in a superstitious neighborhood, I'm telling you, you will find problems that you've never even imagined of. So expect things like human remains when you're excavating. Now, there are a few cases where we find pollutants, really hazardous material as we are digging around. And that often means you have to stop, get somebody who knows what they're doing. Because the last thing you want to do is to have somebody get in contact with material that is going to harm their health. Especially you're talking about things like asbestos and other chemicals that may really interfere with folks working for you. So when we run into those, we have a protocol to address those things. Now, the other issue that we ran into that also was part of the project we're looking at right now is very tight space, where the entire structure basically covers the whole piece of land. And so we didn't even have space to work. And so we had to come up with creative solutions because we didn't even have space to deliver materials on the site, given how tight it is. And that can be quite a problem. And this typically happens when at the designing stage, there was no proper consultation with people who are building. Sometimes, of course, with this kind of soil, that like the one we're working on, you almost always are going to run into cost overruns. Especially with foundations, you dig down and you realize you have to go a whole lot deeper, or you have to change the design of the foundation given what you find on the ground. And sometimes the cost at the foundation can be because of price fluctuation. Steel can vary quite a bit from day to day, and that can really change. So I often tell my clients, of all the stages of building, please be patient with us for foundation, because again, it's very hard to put a reliable number on it. The other ones are very easy to put relatively reliable numbers. And then oftentimes you run into unforeseen conditions like illness and death. Like right now, one of my really top fundis just lost his father, who is being buried today. So things like that happens. Fundis fall sick, and you have to make adjustments. And then there might be delays depending on material shortage. I've worked in places where it's very hard to get sand or other really good materials. And so if you can't get materials in, there will be change in terms of timelines. And then in a few cases, then you have issues with labor shortages. And this is a concern that one of my clients brought up to me in the coast. And he specifically told me not to hire certain people because he knows those people are too lazy. And they'll make it very difficult for us to work given how fast our folks work. So again, in terms of safety, sometimes at construction sites, accidents happen. People fall, people get cut, and all kinds of things happen. And so clients often don't see that part because most of my clients live in diaspora and are not on the ground. But those are things we have to manage. So whatever you do, just make sure you have mitigation strategies to address some of these hazards. The one first step that you could put in place is make sure you do thorough planning right from the architectural works. Plan, including reasonable timelines and contingency plans for when things don't work the way you anticipated. And that often requires quite a bit of flexibility and clear communication. Make sure at all costs the client knows whatever is going on. If there's going to be a change, be clear and stick to your timelines. And if ever something is to change, please communicate with your client. And again, always have a plan for risk management. Living in the US has really taught me a lot about safety. Back at home, we actually even have a saying that ajali haina kenga, which means accidents are just going to happen. I don't believe in that. Always have a plan for risk management so that you minimize the possibilities of things going wrong. You don't wait until things start falling apart before you figure out what you do. So I say identify potential risk early in the project, and you develop strategies to mitigate them in advance. And then, as I always say, safety comes first. That is one thing that America has drilled in my head. Always have a safety protocol and implement strict safety protocols. So that will help you minimize many of these problems you're going to run into, particularly around accidents and people being careless with tools. So I hope, folks, this was useful, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and bye.